Are we back? Um, OBS crashed there. Uh, I'm not sure why, um, but it did. I hope you guys find your way back, because that was unfortunate. Um, well, stream's back. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I'm not sure. It's okay. It's okay. It happened very early into stream. We don't gotta worry too hard. Hopefully. Hopefully. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about. OBS doesn't usually do that on me. Probably just like a weird one-off thing. I'm sure it's fine. If it happens again, I'll try troubleshooting some stuff. But as long as stream looks good and it does look good on my end, I think we'll be okay. Um, what was I saying before all of that? Um, Blight. Yes. So her backstory in the Cyberpunk Red game, she was attacked by Cyber Psycho, and that just kind of like drove her to this sort of like, like, um, insane, like, will to like survive, and um, she took like a very interesting approach to that. So I loved the idea of like a Ripper Doc. Those are the people who do like the whole cyber augmentation stuff. I love the idea of like a Ripper Doc just doing their own surgery on themselves, cutting themselves open, and like the way that Blight did all of her augments. Like um, her whole gimmick was that she replaced her entire circulatory system with acid. So she just had acidic blood coursing through her veins and everything, and it was just gross and uh, horrifying and all things all at once. She was again very toxic character and so many things. So the cool thing too is that like she absolutely like despised anyone who was like on the verge of cyberpsychosis. So if they had like a lot of augments and everything, she was like very like skeptical of them. She didn't want to be around them, which was interesting because one of our other players was a heavily augmented solo. Um, so she was just there like, I don't want to work with this person. But yeah, it was a very fun game. I loved playing her a lot, and she even had like a little bit of a redemption arc. Really fun. In this iteration, though, um, she is not a Ripper Doc. Um, essentially, the world that I homebrew is kind of where I store all of my OCs for like safekeeping. I make an OC, I throw them somewhere in the world, and they have like their own sort of like story and history, just all kinds of stuff like that. It's like excellent story. I should really like not make a website, but like make some sort of like actual organized thing. Maybe people can view it. Um, so Blight being from like very like cyberpunk sci-fi origins, it was a little hard to like figure out like what exactly to like fit her into, but I found something. Alongside Charlie, she is in a band called the Devil's Trinity. They're a punk rock band, punk pop, something along those lines. Um, and she plays bass for the band. Charlie plays drums, and the lead singer is a tiefling named Doremi Solatito, which is just a pun on do, re, mi, stuff like that. I'm getting all kinds of notifications. Um, yeah, so Doremi's, or Dor, I usually shorten her name to Dor, and I'm aware that Dor is a word. But I like how it sounds. So Door's the lead singer. Blight is on bass. Charlie's on drums. And what I like about I always liked Blight on as a bassist, like even in general. Like there were jokes in the Cyberpunk Red campaign about us being a band. Um, I always liked Blight on bass just because it's very one of the big things about her cyber augments was that she could control her own heart rate. Oh hey Sunbatson, yeah, hell yeah, bass player. I really did like unironically use my own bass for reference on sketching this out. So we'll see how this goes. Um, I even like took really careful measures to make sure like her fingers were like on the right frets or and like her just everything because you know I play and I was like, well, I don't have an excuse to draw this wrong at this point. Um, yeah, I always liked Blight as a bass player because her acid blood um, could be used as a form of attack in the Cyberpunk game. So essentially, she had a neural link that went down to her heart, and that allowed her to control like her blood pressure, her heart rate. Um, I have her game reference right here. This is like the unrendered version because I need the flats, but like she has like the monitors there. She has stitches going over her chest because of the cyber psycho attack and other things. You could kind of see the wire running down from like her temple all the way down there. And that was her big thing. She's so I liked bass for that cuz like part of bass is like keeping up with like tempos and setting like a sort of uh it's bass does like two things. It's like harmonization and tempo, which is really cool. I thought that would be good for her. And I am drawing her like in her alternative outfit that I never actually drew her in. Um, I don't know why I'm like this, but all of like a lot of my really like edge lord characters. That is so cool. Bass and drums are the heartbeat of a song. Yeah, exactly. And Charlie was already on drums. Let me grab Charlie's thing real quick. Uh, Sob. Yeah. The reason why I wanted Charlie on drums specifically, because I really she first of all she is a vampire, um, so not exactly half vampire, but like adjacent to a vampire. We'll put it that way. Um, so I really liked the idea of like a vampiric character playing the drums, and then, but like the drumsticks can also be like wooden stakes. I don't know the logistics of that, but I really liked the idea. I thought that was like really like fun in my head, so I wanted to do that. The one thing though, uh, I like to imagine that while the band isn't necessarily geared towards combat, generally everyone in the world, because it's a fantasy world, has some level of experience. I do like to imagine Charlie just sort of like breaking the sticks over her knees and turning them into stakes to fight with. But that's Charlie. This is Blight. Her real name is actually Eliza. I think I got that because like when I was making her, it was like one of the Mandela catalog videos had just dropped, and I was like, I like the name Eliza. I'm gonna use it. I think I can't remember. No, I really don't remember. But yeah, I love her eyes too. So she's so mean. Um, I might tweak her palette just a little bit, make her less green because Charlie has green, unbelievably colored. So I think I want to skew her more like towards yellow. Like she's already kind of like that, right? But just for the sake of like being able to differentiate like characters and stuff, I think she should be her color palette should be way more yellow. Um, but I'm gonna keep the hair and the skin the same. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna take this leather jacket, make it yellow, because yellow is unironically such a good color. I don't know why all of my edgelord characters end up being so like brightly colored. It just kind of happens. But you know what? I personally like it a lot. I think it's very like, again, it's like warning colors, like poisonous animals. They don't need to camouflage because they know like, oh, well, if you try to eat me, um, you're just gonna die, which I think is really fun. So like that's like one detail about her Blight's design that I love to death. Let me actually switch to a smaller pen here. With those points that I really want. Yeah, Blight is in my own honest opinion, I think Blight is probably the best character design I ever have I've ever made, because she's so volatile, and it works so well for like her character, and like just like the subtle nods to like, again, poisonous animals in real life. I think it's incredibly well done on my end. I wish I could achieve this again. I would have thought they would be red, but hey, yellow is pretty in your face. Thank you. Yeah, it's yellow is very like eye-catching. I think it says a lot when a character, like a very like, again, like one of those edgy characters. I think it says way more when those characters aren't trying to hide and it's actively like I want you to see me, and I want you to know that if you try something, you will walk away like actually like hurt. Um because what is it? Like a lot of them it's like, okay, well, you're obviously like rogues, for example. You're obviously like wearing dark colors and everything. You're trying to blend in. You're trying to seem inconspicuous, but you want to be like that tough guy at the same time. You want to be like that. It's like those quiet kids. I shouldn't say kids. It's like those quiet people who are like turning everything into a James Bond movie. Like, if this person approaches me, this is exactly what I'm going to do. But like again, they're making it very like inconspicuous, and maybe I get that that's like part of the appeal, but I think it says a lot more when you are bold about it, and like yeah, you have like the same energy of like edgelord anger. I'm gonna kill something, um, but it's like at least this time it's like now it's a challenge. Now it's like a just like, why don't you try and approach me, see what happens, fuck around and find out kind of thing, and then you fuck around and find out, and the person has acid for blood. But yeah, that's like my favorite part about it. Green is also just like another thing that I just end up using a lot. I don't know why, but you know what? I have come to really love green as a color. I can't escape it. All colors are so good. I think among my least favorite colors that I use, that's gonna be like probably orange and probably pink. Those are probably the colors that I use the least of. Because I really like yellow. I really like green. I obviously like red and purple. Blue's just kind of an easy color to use, so it's like, you know, I'm gonna end up using it anyways. But orange and pink, I find those like a little bit tougher to use. Orange, or at least orange though, like that's usually like fire and stuff like that. Like I can get a, like that's not too bad. Like I can work that into a scene, no problem. Pink though, really difficult. Anything neon colored is a warning sign. Nothing should be that bright. That is exactly what it is. It's like, okay, you're like I just love that neon is associated with like warning colors. It's like it's so perfect. It's so like it's actually so good. Anyways, what has been new for me lately? On Sunday, this last Sunday, a buddy of mine at Carl's Jr., a buddy of me and Johnny's actually, he's moving out to the next city, but because you know it's the next city, he's saying the commute's really far. He's probably just gonna try and find a job over there, so he's leaving, or he's left already. Sunday was his last day here in the city. I was just like, no. But yeah, and so we got tacos with him, another Carl's Jr. buddy, and we just hung out for a few hours. It was really fun. I honestly, he's way more Johnny's buddy than he is my buddy, mostly because I don't work night shifts anymore, and it's so sad. I wanna work nights more. I miss the night crew. They're so funny. But again, boss needs me during the day. And that cute boy wants to work mornings too, so I'm just like, okay, well, it's not all too bad. I still miss them though. They're really funny at night. So that was that. Saturday was pretty uneventful for me personally. Like I woke up early, and for a moment they thought we were gonna I was gonna get sent home early, but then it turned out I just needed to cover breaks. It's incredible how monotonous the store has been lately. I don't get it, because like I should be happy about this, right? I should be happy that like there hasn't been any like unsavory customers. There hasn't been like anything really bad lately, honestly. But what's crazy is that the people at night, they're getting it, and they're getting the worst. There was one person in the drive-thru who was saying like, hey, if you don't like do this shake properly, I'm gonna come in there and beat you up. And it's like monotonous, so it is mainly boring. Yeah, it's like it's like the store won't be like, the store won't get like slammed or anything, so it's not, so it hasn't been like super busy. The customers have actually been pleasant and not like complete hell to deal with, so I don't know what's going on. It's like, where did all the lunatics go? And if you ask night shift, it seems like they all went to they all went to like they're like, all the angry customers are just flocking to the store at night. But it's like, man, like what happened? What happened to day shift? It used to be silly. The people who threaten violence are always so weird. Like, this anger can't be about a shake, right? But it can be. They're so weird. Well, okay, so to explain things a little bit more in detail, I guess. Our shakes, we do have measurements for it. So we measure out 8 ounces of ice cream and almost 12 or 4 ounces of milk. So in total, that is a 12-ounce cup of shake. Right? Now, I personally, when I measure it out, I measure it out so that it's like 12 when you put the lid on. So there's that. But the thing is that I do recognize that when you do it like that, the shakes are a little soft. But you know what? In my opinion, the shakes should be a little soft. Have you ever, like, sat there and, like, you're basically trying to sip through, like, a block of ice, and there's nothing coming up the straw, and it's, like, by the time it reaches the straw, or, like, the end of the straw, you're met with, like, a sliver of the drink. And then, like, yeah, you need some give there. Exactly. So people will complain about, but then people will complain, like, oh, the shakes are too soft. Like, I measured it out. I measured it out. It is fine. There was this one guy who used to drop by the store every single day on happy hour. Be like, he orders a chocolate shake, and then he looks to me specifically, he's like, can you make sure somebody else makes it because you don't make it right? I'm like, no, I make it exactly right, you fucking, you fucking troglodyte. Like, he just wants he just wants a thicker shake, and I'm like, you know who does thicker shakes? The fast food joint across the street, Jack in the Box. Like, unironically, their shake promotions are like, oh yeah, get a thick shake here at Jack in the Box. Go over there! Like, spend the extra $2. You get more, you got more bang for your buck anyways, because their cups are taller. So it's like, anyways, point being, I haven't had a lot of customers be like that to me recently, but they are like that to the other employees for some reason. So this, like, a week ago, right? And also just get a popsicle at this point, yeah. Truer words have never been spoken. Like, you want hard ice cream so bad. There's a Baskin Robbins in the same plaza. Go over there and leave me alone. We can live without your business. It's like some customer, it's so funny. It's like, well, I guess I'll just take my business elsewhere. Alright. Yeah, losing one person is not gonna, like, destroy a business. But a week ago, somebody had ordered, like, 7 shakes at the end of somebody's shift. So she made the shakes, and she does make them correctly. She always makes sure to, get the ice cream right. In fact, I think she even leaves a little bit more ice cream, and she doesn't go too hard on the milk because she knows that it'll make it soft. And she can be a little blunt, I'm not gonna lie. But the customer, like, completely overreacted, and they were, like, screaming at her, like, you were so rude when you gave me these shakes, and they're not even made right, they're all soft, and it's like... It's a shake. I understand that they are usually $5. Like, they are $5 each. But I want, it's like, sometimes I wish I could just record them and be like, can you just listen to yourself for a moment? Can you just, like, can you just think for 2 seconds about what you're saying and how you're acting over this? It's like, actual children. It's insane. But yeah, absolute insanity at the store. It's hilarious. I'm glad I haven't run into anything like that recently, but, I do feel sorry for everyone who does. That one kid, though, they were like, threatening him in the drive-thru. My coworker, the kid, he is into boxing, so it is kind of, like, funny to think, like these people challenging staff at Carl's Jr. Meanwhile, like, some of the people at the store actually do exercise and do a little bit of, like, martial arts. If you want a thicker shake, just ask nicely. It will increase your chances of getting one. Like, these people can't live a happy life if it could be dismantled by a damn shake. It's so true, though. One of the things that I've told my coworkers at the store, it's like, it's so much easier to scam a fast food restaurant if you're just polite about it. Like, I don't understand why they gotta get so angry. There's this one lady who used to come into the drive-thru every single day, like, you messed up my order, I want it remade fresh right now, and it's like, there's no way we could have messed up your specific order so many times. Like, we know you're scamming. There was this other person, oh my god, it was the insanity of this particular individual. I don't think I ever got to see his face, but Johnny did. This guy, he has a daughter, and her bike got stolen, right? She left it outside. We do have a bike rack. It is just kind of by the dumpster. I didn't know that bike rack existed for the longest time. But it is there. she didn't lock up her bike or anything, so duh, it got stolen. And he's like telling us like it's your fault that you did this and you owe my daughter a new bike, and he had her like handwrite a whole letter about like how she's like depressed now or something, and that she needs like free food and a new bike. And I'm just here like, I don't understand how that's my problem, or how that's the store's problem. Like, lock up your bike, idiot. Like, actually skill issue. If you can't do the simplest things to make sure your things don't get stolen, maybe you do kind of deserve to get robbed. And I mean that, like, lightly. It's like, yeah, it sucks that your bike got stolen, but also consider it's kind of your fault. Yeah, that was an insane thing to get. Like a handwritten who does that these days? It was 2 pages too. 2 pages handwritten demands from, like, again, if her bike got stolen, I'm sorry, but that's not our fault. Like, what are you supposed to do about that? I don't know. The most that the store was at fault for was not having cameras outside. And to be fair, it takes a lot. It apparently takes like a very specific. It took a very specific series of events to get cameras outside. Manifesto over there. No, literally, like if you don't get my daughter a new bike in the next 24 hours, I will write corporate about this. And that's all they have the balls to say. And I'm willing to bet that corporate probably, like, if they did get a letter, they'd probably be like, well, we're sorry to hear that, but we're not liable for any of this, blah blah blah, legal stuff, blah blah blah. Very fancy and eloquent words to say skill issue. And this is one of the only times where I'm siding with corporate, because yeah, that's not our problem. There was this other guy too. He always made up like the most random sob stories to try and get free food. One time he told Johnny that like, oh, like I'm just having like a super rough day. My cat died, and it's like, okay, the one time it's like, okay, yeah, sure, we can give you maybe like a discount or something, right? The next time it was with me and Irma, and he used this, or me and my manager Irma, he used the same like excuse of his cat dying, and he was talking about like um something about, it was something about like like money or gambling, something like that. I think people are just way too comfortable with treating service workers like crap. Yeah, at least it's like mildly entertaining sometimes. Like, I think it depends on the area. I live in a pretty good area, all things considered. Like, it could be worse. I could work in the city next to us at a fast food restaurant. That would definitely give me an aneurysm, I think. Oh boy, we got a bot. I'm glad that the automod is like making it so that it doesn't show up, but I am gonna be banning it just in case. The one time there was a general manager in training, so GMIT at the store, who came from another city next to us, and she was explaining that at her Carl's Jr. there was this one homeless lady who stripped in front of the beverage bar and started rubbing her, well, you know, and she just started screaming like, "This is my..." Yeah, I don't know how to deal with that. And obviously I feel bad for these people, right? But at the same time it's like, well, I know they can't be doing it, but I also don't know how, like, I'm supposed to, like, get them out of the store. I guess at that point just call the police, but then it's like, well, how long are the police gonna take to get here? So, I'm glad I've never had to deal with something like that. The closest thing I have had to deal with that was on my second day on the job. What in the ever loving God is happening in fast food restaurants? You know, I wish I knew. I had a guy at McDonald's like a week or two ago. I like to dress edgy, right? Like, I like chains, I like a lot of jewelry, I like to wear whatever, right? So I'm sitting there in the restaurant trying to read a book for once, and this guy goes, "Are you human?" And I'm like looking like, yeah? And I'm not even wearing my elf ears or the horns that day. Like, maybe I would have understood if I was like wearing any of like the actual like fantasy stuff, fantasy and cosplay stuff, but this guy, he was hell bent on the fact that I wasn't human. And he asked a McDonald's worker. The McDonald's worker, I think, is just kind of like leaning into like no, I'm not human, and I'm just there with my headphones, like, okay, this is this is gonna go one of two ways, and hopefully it is not the second way where it escalates into something worse. And he just kept like talking to me, like, you know, if you like stand under the light and you keep reading like that, it's gonna make you old. And I'm just like, can I just get my food and go already? I had my headphones in, so I was just like, yeah, that's great. Um, that was that. Another time in New York, when me and my parents, me and my family, we went to New York. Um, we were sitting in, I think, a little ice cream parlor, right? Just a very, very small space. And I'm sitting there next to Johnny, and we're waiting for our ice cream when this guy suddenly runs into the store, sits next to me, and he's like, okay, look, I don't have much time, I really gotta explain things. And he keeps going and going and going. He's like, I've done insane things for cash before. Like, I've sucked people's dicks, and I've, like, done this. I'm selling cash. And we're just like, the whole time, like, help me. Finally, I think my aunt gave the guy, like, a $20 bill. He's like, thank you so much, and he just left. And I was just there like, can this please stop happening to me? This was, like, back in 2019, though. So, yeah. Um, I don't I don't know what to make of that, other than I've had interesting experiences with people, and it's confusing, and it's a little scary sometimes. But most of the time, they don't really end up doing anything beyond maybe asking for food or cash. So, at least there's that. Again, for as many of like the bad experiences I've had, it could always be worse. Um, yeah. There was another guy at the store on my second day on the job. It was so funny. Um, he comes in, I'm scrubbing the chair legs because they get dirty, right? And usually the new people, what we would do back then, we would just have them like clean like some stuff that like the other people at the store don't have time to clean. And I look up, I see him come in, right? He's got a jug of milk, probably from like 7-Eleven. And I look back down, I look back up, and suddenly his shirt is off. The milk jug he is holding in his hand is like open. He's like swinging it around and everything. The guy is very obviously either drunk or on something else. He meanders. I'm like using that word specifically. Like he meanders, stumbles over to the front counter where all of our employees are. At the time we had way more black employees, so like the whole front line was kind of them. And he just starts screaming racial slurs at them. And they're all, so like all our employees are like, get out of here, we're not like serving you, stuff like that. And I'm just there like, God, I am not your strongest warrior, please help me. I think he left without causing too much fuss after that. Like he didn't get like combative or anything, but it was just like, for a second day on the job, that was kind of insane. And I was a little worried that that experience was going to, like, paint the rest of the Carl's Jr. experience for me. Thankfully it didn't. So at least there's that. Um... Other than that, just... Again, most people in this city, at least, are very, like... They're alright. They're alright. Just, the only thing really is, I'm gonna see if I can extend that a little bit, just so it doesn't, like, blend into the collar of the jacket. Again, I just tell myself, it could be worse. It could be worse. That is my light at the end of the tunnel for Carl's Jr. Like, oh yeah, you may have, like, a shirtless guy swinging milk around in the store screaming racial slurs at the employees, but at least he's not completely naked. And you know what? If that's the solace I have to take, when it comes to some of the people who come to the store, that is the solace I will take, because after hearing how bad it can get, I am thankful that is probably, like, the worst of what's happened. Regarding certain visitors. I will say, because the game store that I live in is in one of the neighboring cities, it does end up getting a little, like, silly there too sometimes. There was this one lady who walked in, so suspicious. She was, like, unbelievably suspicious, and we were sure that she had, like, stolen something, right? We just weren't sure what exactly, right? And we're a tabletop store, so of course there's, like, stuff like collectibles and everything. And, finally, somebody goes to the bathroom. It's like, hey, do you guys have soap? And I'm like, I had used the bathroom, like, earlier that day. I'm like, yeah, but, like, we should have soap. Why? She took the soap bottle, and I was just like, that's what she stole. On the bright side, though, compared to everything else that we have in the store, that is thankfully one of the lesser expensive items. And you know what? If a lady needs soap, the lady needs soap. So I didn't mind that too much. And then there was this one time, my coworker at the store, the other DM, because our shifts would kind of overlap on Sundays, because I used to open on Sundays, and then he would run D&D on Sundays. And we were pretty friendly with each other, right? Because, you know, it's a nerd store. Everyone who works there is a nerd. So there's, like, a lot of common ground to talk about, and we're just kind of, like, talking and stuff. And I'm telling Johnny about this, and Johnny is very protective over me, right? And he goes, like, are you sure he just doesn't like you, Kyra? And I'm like, Johnny, I think he's offering to do these things for me because I was literally about to open the door to the meth head that was standing outside. Because there was this lady that day, and she looked, not 100% there, but it was like a really hot summer day, so it was like whether it was like heat exhaustion or something else. I was like, I'm gonna go open the door for this lady, right? And he was just like, you know what, let me open the door for you. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. I get that. And Johnny was like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. It's so funny how protective he is, like, over me sometimes. I really admire it, because it's nice to know that, he's got my back. But sometimes, this is before, I don't think he's, like, too much like this now. When I started working at the store, he was like, Kyra, you need to ask Robin if she can just put you on day shift. I'm like, why would I go on day shift? Like I want to work with you, right? And he just goes, there's a lot of boys at night. And I'm like, Johnny, I can handle myself around boys. You don't need to worry about that. Yeah, that was just kind of like a silly thing that happened. Uh, it is true. All the guys work night shift and all the girls work day shift. I was always like confused about that until I thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah, it would be a little bit dangerous, like if a closer and there was like someone outside. We have like buddy systems for this, but still. And I guess it's not like opening like does a lot of favors either. The other week I had to open on a Thursday, and you know, so I get to the store around 5. My shift doesn't start until 5:30 though, so I walk to 7-Eleven to grab breakfast, and as I'm walking back, because the way that I go to 7-Eleven is just like, it passes by our dumpster because the stores are right next to each other. And as I'm walking past the dumpster, I swear I saw a man's face there. And I just kept walking, and I'm like tapping on the glass door, like please let me in, please let me in. I'm like checking behind my back, like, was that actually a person I saw back there? Just in, I don't know. I don't like opening. Not just because I have to like get up early or anything, but it's just like it's so dark outside, and it's so quiet. I don't like, that's all it is really. Closing on the other hand is like all right, because it's like it like we're leaving the restaurant, we're going to our cars, and I don't have to wait for someone to unlock the door. It's when it's like it's when I gotta like tap on the door and be like, can I come in, please? Like that's when it starts to get like a little like nervous. Or that's when I get to start to get a little nervous. Let's see, what else is there to talk about? First of all, let me save. I'm gonna show you guys something very silly. I just remembered. So I spent a decent chunk of the weekend getting ready for vending, right? I'm going to vend a table in the summer, for sure. I think if I'm very, very diligent about finishing up the stickers, earliest I can get in is June. Most likely it's going to be July. Latest is probably going to be August or whatever. So I was working on stuff, right? And so I was making packaging for my prints, right? Upside down. There we go. The only thing though is that this is made out of a sheet protector, so there's no actual like adhesive on these. Not sure if I'm allowed to say it, but her right arm is a bit short. Oh yeah, that's fine. I do kind of want to fix it. The tough thing is that it is supposed to be going off screen. If anything, I can probably make the left arm shorter so that it looks more, and like, as a huge problem that I've like had in the past with anatomy is that I make the arms too long, so I have been trying to shorten them quite a bit. So I think what I'll do to make it more proportionate with each other, I'll probably shorten this arm and keep the length on this one, because I need the fingers to be able to run on the strings there. Like, a lot of the arm length is kind of dependent on where the hand is at the moment, and I just build from there. Anyways, so I have this, right, and I made the packaging, right? I trimmed these cardboard sheets from, I trimmed the cardboard sheet from some cardboard that we use in the sauce packaging at Carl's Jr. And I melted I cut up a sheet protector and melted the sides to seal it off. But all of that being said, that means I don't really have a way to like seal these shut, because there's no adhesive on them, unlike these ones that actually came with it. You can like just kind of see the stripe there, the adhesive. So I was like, okay, well, I need a way to package this somehow, and I do have sticker paper at home. It's not very good sticker paper, and our printer ink doesn't look that good. And I also didn't like CMYK this for printing, regardless. But oh my god. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna just take this out. They're a little hard to get out, but they're very cute. I took one of the emotes off the channel. I turned it into this little sticker here, so I can just peel that off when I hand people the packaging for the prints. It just goes on there, like, it just goes on. I'm not gonna stick it on there right now, but it just for reference, this is what it would look like. And I think it's very cute. I think it's very silly. I should have done like the other emotes. But I like this one just because it's like, okay, this is gonna be my first time. Let me not put the stabby one in there just yet. But I think it's really cute. So, excited about that. I have more keychains in here. I hope I sell a lot of the keychains because I did spend a lot of money, and I did, the store is not selling as many as, Game Store is not selling as much of the stock that I lent them as I had hoped. So, how do I close this again? It's like, there we go. Yeah. So that is my vending stock box. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to like do art walk. Oh, I forgot to put the stickers back in there. I'll put it back later. But yeah. I'm really excited to do art walk. I'm positive I can get a table ready by Sunday, not Sunday, by summer. That's what I meant to say. Good lord, if I could do that by Sunday, that would be like insane work. I have an artist mutual on Instagram, and she was asking me like so many questions one night, and first of all, I just wasn't in the mood for like, I feel kind of bad because I just wasn't in like the mood to like talk at all, because I had already had like a super busy day and I was like tired. She had like a lot of questions like, oh, how are you gonna do this? How are you gonna do this? I'm like, I don't know. But this is the paper, this is the kind of paper that I use for prints. I get the prints at Staples because I don't have, well, I can technically do it at home, but they won't look as pretty. And just, like, all kinds of stuff, and I was just like, I don't know what to say. And, like, I don't think she meant it this way, but, like, some of the things, like, were coming off a little rude. It was like, why don't you do at-home printing? Because I can't afford a printer and ink right now. Staples is so cheap to print at. Like, for reference, I had the Eladrin poster, right. The Eladrin one, printed on my wall over there. It's really hard to see. But that was only 84 cents to print. And, like, the biggest, like, cost of doing all of that is gas money at the end of the day. And, you know, that's arguably, like, you know, if I'm gonna be, like, out of the house already looking to get lunch, it's like, I can always, like, make a quick stop over at Staples just to get something printed, like, really fast. I do want to do at-home printing at some point. It's just, like, my whole thing was, like, she was, like, asking, like, what kind of printer do you use? And I'm like, I don't recommend printing at home because if you don't have a really good printer and really good ink, the prints just don't look that good. And I know because I tried. And it's cheap. It's just cheapest to do it, like, somewhere else because they'll have the right weight of paper, they'll have really nice ink, and you'll even get, like, a nice glossy finish over the print. And it was just, like, a whole thing that I was trying to explain. But apparently she does have, like, a really nice printer that can print in bulk, and I'm just like, okay, if you want to use this weight of paper, like this is the kind of stuff that you want to use. And I'm just like, why didn't you lead with the fact that you already have one at home? It's okay, though. I also offered to, because the sauce boxes at Carl's Jr. where we store all like the little sauce cups, um, they have these cardboard sheets that they all like sit on, and me and Johnny will take the clean ones home so I can use them for packaging. So I offered like, hey, next, like, let me know next time you're gonna be at the store because I have like a bunch of these and you might be able to like make use of them. And I did tell her that she's gonna need it like a paper cutter of some sort, like an industrial one that like cuts really straight edges and everything. She's gonna need to measure out like the packaging for the stuff if she's gonna do art walk, just all kinds of things like that. Oh my god, it's 12:25 already. Man, we have been yapping. Another thing that I think I need. Oh, actually, before I get onto that tangent, I think commissions will be opening up relatively soon. Um, so that's kind of exciting. I haven't had my commissions open for pretty much the entire year so far, which is kind of crazy because I usually always have them open, but I don't, and I haven't for a while now. I think, but like the thing with opening commissions is sometimes you'll just get a lot of bots, right? And sometimes it can be a little hard to distinguish like who is a bot and who isn't, right? Just because sometimes they do play it smart and they do know what they're doing. So I was thinking that when I do update my commission sheet, I'm going to put a code word, for the lack of a better sense. It's like, if you want to commission me, use this word, this specific thing, and so that way I know you're not a bot. It's like kind of like a captcha, because it's like I don't think the bots actually read the rules on commissions that I put down, and if somebody does read through the rules, they will be able to like click and see it. However, I am worried that there will be some people, some scammers who will be smart enough to do that. So part of me wants to put my comp sci degree to use. I think what I might be able to do, or what I want to do, is I want to create, it's basically going to be kind of like a two-factor authentication thing. So it'll be like a little web app. I send, or a little web app with like a link, and you generate a word, and I can see the word that is generated. So when you ask to commission me, I'll ask to say like, okay, what was the secret word that was generated on the thing, and they give it to me, and I'll be like, okay, perfect, you're not a bot. I'll do the commission, right? I kind of want to try something like that. I don't know how effective that'll be, and I don't know if that's excessive either. I feel like I should probably just get like a VGen or something at this point, but I know VGen you need like an invite link for that, and I don't want to bother people for it. And I do kind of like how I run things anyways. But I think that's a good idea. Just having like a little secret password or something, so that way, like I like it's a lot faster to weed out like who's a bot and who isn't a bot. And that way I can also like respond to like more of them too. Just be like, hey, if you are actually interested in commissions, like what is the secret code word or something. Yeah, be revamping my commissions page quite a bit actually. Um, I'm still gonna keep like the general format, but I think what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna have it so there will be a link to a PDF of sorts, or a Google Drive, or a Google Doc, I should say, and that will just be like an expanded kind of like thing. Like, okay, here's like extra rules, yada yada, um, stuff like that. Um, I might ask on Rose Discord and see like, hey, do you guys think this is a good like rule to implement for commissions, like a secret code word, just to sort of help like weed out bots a little bit better. Because I do want to open them again soon, and I think I am like in a position where I think I can get them open pretty soon. I don't know how many people will actually get one. I know there's one guy at the game store who was looking to get a D&D character illustrated, which is exciting because I have been advertising commissions there for a bit. Now, they're the only ones that are open because I think I can handle like IRL things over over online at the moment. You know what? I'm surprised the spikes came out as uniformly as they did. Like, they actually don't look too different from each other. Interesting idea, but I still say you have to consider something like that at all. I mean, yeah, but I think, like, even without, like, some sort of, like, web app to do it, I think that is, like, a pretty generous thing, and it's not too terribly difficult at the end of the day. Because arguably, I could program an entire CAPTCHA system. I could program an entire web app for myself. Theoretically. I'm not saying I'm smart enough to do that. I'm saying I'm theoretically smart enough to do that. I could technically go entire extra lengths and be like, here's my own custom website where you can order commissions, and you have to check this thing to prove you're not a robot. And you have to go through this. Like, I think just having like a little password is just like a good start. The code word is a decent enough approach, yeah. I think it should be good enough for now, especially considering how small I am still. Like, it should work out pretty well. I don't even know what I want the code word to be right now. Maybe I should make it be like something like really embarrassing. Just be like, okay, what's the code word? Farts. Okay, you can get a commission now, yippee! Something stupid like that. That might be kind of funny. I have the humor of a 4-year-old, I'm so stupid. Ooh, you know what, that's looking like it continues off of the thing. Let me fix that. Yeah, there we go. Tiefling. Oh, that's a good one, yeah. And maybe I'll have it so like every month the code word changes. So it's like, okay, there's a new code word, you gotta use it. Which is kind of the nice thing about like having a Google Doc for it, right? Like I'll be able to edit it without too much issue. I don't need to export like a new image. Just something like that. I think it's a good idea. I'll run that by some other artists, and then maybe it, like, if a lot of people think that it is a good idea, maybe like other artists can start using it too, because you know, it's all of us who are having to deal with like the stupid like bot issues and everything. I got one today. It was like it was like an NFT monkey profile, and one of the and a link for something obviously like nefarious. It's just like, okay, there's 2 million whatever something dollars in that account. I know we were nice to each other in our relationship, but I don't think we should be seeing each other again. Don't contact me ever again. Yada yada yada. And I was just like, how dumb does somebody have to be to fall for this? I know it's I know it's like less effective against like younger people like me who are like way more tech literate and everything, but it's still just like come on. Yeah, I think that what is crazy though, despite having my commissions closed, this is like the most it's like the NFT monkey picture is a clear giveaway. It absolutely is. It's like, it's the it's crazy to think that, like, how should I put this? How should I put NFTs are like such old news. Um, they haven't been relevant in ages. Like in terms of like internet stuff, right? Like I don't realistically, I don't think anyone has like done anything with NFTs in forever. It's all crypto currency stuff and like Ponzi schemes lately. Um, like that's what it is. I haven't seen anything on like NFT collectibles and stuff like that. It's just meme coins lately, which on one hand is which on one hand it's like yippee NFTs are dead, but it's like they're still functionally here with everyone dropping like the dumb cryptocurrency stuff. Because that's what it is, right? It's just all like that Web3 shit that realistically no one cares about anymore. I am so glad they're all in the gutter. It feels so good. Which is why I'd like to announce my new lineup of... No, I'm kidding. The only thing that I'm really lining up is probably prints. This was something that I wanted to mention earlier before I decided to cut myself off and talk about the whole code word stuff for commissions. I think what I need to do in my Google Drive, because the way the way I do things, maybe other artists have like an actual like smarter way of doing it, but I don't. Um, the way I Kerr's new line of NFT flings block. Isn't that just that would just be a pick crew at the end of the day? It's just like, okay, tiefling character creator, go guys. I wish I could do something like that. NFT flings is so good though. But what I wanted to mention was this. The way I organize my the way I get everything ready for printing is I put it in a Google Doc and I just kind of send that Google Doc as a PDF to Staples. That being said, sometimes the files get too big and email doesn't like to send. So that has led to me having to create another document titled Print, except it's called Print 2, and that is where I'm gonna be slapping the things. But part of me is thinking like, why don't I just make like different series of like prints? Like it'll be series 1, series 2, or whatever, or I can like name it like something like, I don't know, cottage core print lineup, I don't know, something like that. I think series 1 and series I like the idea of like series 1 and series 2, but the thing is I think those names will be like so nondescript that I'll probably just end up like losing things again. I'll be like, whoa, like what was this one again? And I won't remember. But I think that'll be a good idea for me to do going forward, just so I don't keep losing things. And also, because inevitably I am going to be making a ton of Google Docs for this, and so it's just like, man. And I like the Google Docs too, because it's like, it's on like something that is already a full sheet of paper. Like, resizing it and like getting a sense of scale isn't the worst thing in the world. Go here. Actually, no, I want to do the spikes first. So, man, I think I would love a yellow leather jacket in real life. I think that would be a seriously like cool thing to wear. I tried buying one once, but I did want it with like the spikes and the studs and everything. Man, they are expensive. Let me like look it up again, just to take a peek. Spiked yellow leather jacket. Like, they are unbelievably expensive, and also all men's. So it's definitely not fitting me, but there's an eBay one that's like $360. Jesus Christ. There's one that's $400. Oh man. But they look so good, though. It's so sad. I could just paint a jacket at the end of the day, though. So, not too concerned about it. It's just a matter of, like, me finding a good jacket to paint. And yesterday was D&D. I actually had 2 people show up for the one-shot, which is always great. I love when people show up for the one-shots, because it's just, like, a whole chance for me to like, you know, it's always good to, like, practice DMing, because it is, like, a skill that I need to, like, stay brushed up on. Especially because I'm doing this, like, in a more professional sense now. But you do look good in those jackets. D&D, yay! Yippee! Exactly. Oh my god. It was really fun doing the one-shot this time around. One guy who was completely new to it, so he had no problem just kind of, like, going along with the sort of, like, railroadiness of the one-shot. Meanwhile, the other guy was playing a chaotic neutral, artificer warforged, and, at some point, he was like, okay, well, I'm on vacation, so I don't want to be doing this. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can go on, you're on vacation, that's valid. And, like, in my head, I'm just, like, quick thinking, like, okay, how am I gonna rope this guy back into, like, the action and everything? And I'm right. And, the one shot that I was running yesterday, I was, like, reusing an old one. It was the worm watching one, the one with the poachers as the enemies and so on and so forth. And I was like, okay, as you are leaving the preserves, as you were leaving the preserves, entrance and everything, you catch a glow in the air, and it's a little fairy dragon trying to lead you somewhere. And already earlier in the one shot, I had established that fairy dragons are incredibly rare, and the tour guide that was with the players, she had been working at the preserve for 10 years and still had not seen one. So, right off the bat, it's like, okay, well, you see one now trying to lead you somewhere. And at the end of the session, he was like, that was good. That was, like, a really good way to, like, hook my character back into the scene and everything. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. I enjoy stuff like that. I really do like it when players do keep me on my toes to an extent. It's like, I feel like there's, like, some courtesy when it goes with, like, very, like, self-contained one-shots. Like, you should just, I'm not saying that you should always, like, you shouldn't, like, challenge the DM or anything, but I am saying, like, there's, like, an expected level of, like, courtesy that you as a player should give your DM, because the DMs, you know, they do put a lot of, like, things together, and, there's a lot of work and thought that goes into, like, planning these things. That being said, I'm almost glad that my one-shots are on Monday, because that means I get less children, actually. And the player yesterday was explaining, ooh, before I do that, actually, we're gonna merge this, we're gonna try and fix the arm length here. So I'm gonna take, oops. Because apparently the kids for the Sunday one-shots are very brutal. True, so much work. It is a lot of work. I'm still trying to write my stealth mission one. I'm just not it's not that I'm not, like, strongly displeased with it. It's just I'm struggling to figure out, like, how do I punish the players for failing their stealth checks? Because I don't want to do combat, like, right away, because it's gonna, like, you know, combat would technically alert the entire, like, household that something is up. But I also don't want to, okay, hang on. But I also just don't want to, like, make it, like, so, like, unbelievable. Like, okay, like, you take out some people and nobody notices. Like, that's just, like, not believable, right? So it's just, like, I don't know how I'm going to handle, that. And realistically, maybe at this point I should just, like, scrap it and, like, try it again another time, but it's, like, it's almost done. It's almost done. part of me is thinking maybe it just shouldn't have a combat encounter as well. I'm not too sure at the end of the day. Move this. Get the pencil out. Something like that, and then I think that looks a little bit better. But yeah, apparently the kids are very, like, destructive in the D&D one-shots, for Sunday, so it's like, the other DM, he'll be like, okay, you guys see a statue, and automatically it's like, I want to burn it, I want to destroy it. Can I kill this guy? Can I rob this guy? And it's like, thank God I don't have to put up with that. I might, but just in case that I have to, because I do want to switch over to, like, every other Saturday, just in case I have to, I might, like, write some, like, very, like, destructive things, like, okay, it's a bank robbery, guys, go crazy. Because, you know, I don't want to railroad players necessarily. I don't think that's fun, and even though my one-shots kind of call for it, I do, at the end of the day, want to allow my players to like, have, like, freedom and, like, make the decision on whether they want to, like, go into the railroad or not. Or play into the railroad or not, that's what I mean. Because, you know, it's D&D, it's, like, the whole point of D&D is you can do whatever you want, and I'm like, you can do whatever you want. Just, you know, expect consequences. And I think that's a fair trade-off at the end of the day. I haven't had any, like, complaints about my one-shots yet. I've had, like, I've written, like, a decent number of them already. I haven't had, like, too many, like, complaints. Maybe just some balancing things. But it's been, like, pretty good. I will say, I think I do need to tweak the armor classes of some of my bosses just a little bit. Because it's so funny. What it'll be is, like, okay, it's supposed to be, like, a relatively short boss fight in terms of D&D, right? Shouldn't last longer than, like, an hour, right? And it ends up, like, reaching an hour because everyone will just be, like, missing their attacks. So it's like, the boss should have died, like, 5 turns ago, but here we are. I think I should make this more pointed. It's just kind of funny how, like, that ends up, like, working out. It's like, I didn't intend for it to go on this long, but you guys technically have not hit the boss yet, and I can't... I'll tweak, like, damage rolls, right? On the spot just for the sake of, like, okay, these are squishy level 1 players, and I just rolled, like, 2 max rolls on a damage die. Let me, like, bump that down a number or 2, right? That is just D&D. Dice don't cooperate sometimes. It's more than sometimes, we'll put it that way. But I can't tweak an enemy's, like, armor class in the middle of combat, right? Like, I can't fudge that, because the players can already, like, guess, like, okay, well, if a 14 didn't hit but a 16 did, the armor class is probably 15. I did have, like, one of my players ask yesterday, like, how many hit points does the boss lady have left? And I'm like, I don't like to give out, like, HP numbers, because it's like, it keeps the tension going, right? But I'll give, like, clues, like, oh yeah, they're looking, like, pretty battered up, or, like, no, they look, like, pretty strong still, like, they're doing mostly fine. Just stuff like that. I don't think any DM, like, really gives out, like, the HP totals or anything. I was, like, a little marginally worried yesterday because one player decided to choose a wizard, the other one was artificer. I'm like, okay, there's 2 spellcasters. While I technically think two level 1 characters can take on 3 enemies, I was like, okay, wizard is incredibly squishy and they are just 2 spellcasters. Let me Let me just not throw too much in their direction. But it's stuff like that that I enjoy about D&D. Like, I miss playing, yeah, because I haven't played a game in, like, ages. But I do enjoy DMing a lot. If time zones were better, I would absolutely... You may as well create another character at that point. I was tempted to choose one of the sheets and be like, okay, for the sake of helping you guys, let me just play one of these sheets. But I don't like doing that. I know there's like the whole thing about DMPCs. And like, oh, the DMPC always knows what to do because the DM, and I'm just like, I don't like doing that. So I do try to like make them like way more hands off. I always try to find a way to like write characters out of a scene so that they're not like they're influencing everything. Because you know, I do love the OCs that I make. The tour guide yesterday, Danica Oro, the golden dragonborn who works at a draconic nature preserve. Like, that is a fun character in my opinion. Or Lord Velaran, the grumpy vampire who's forced to host parties for an entire city so that he can keep living there. That guy's also fun, but I also recognize, like, the game isn't about them, it's about the players. So it's like, I always have to, like, find a way to, like shove my OCs out of a scene. So it's like, okay, it's up to you guys now. We brought you this far. And I think I've done a decent enough job at that. I know I've heard, like, the Reddit horror stories where it's like, oh, the DM most certainly did not, oh, what is going on there? Are you guys seeing this? There's, like, it's, like, green. What? That's so weird. When did that happen? I don't know if it's shown up on stream, but, like, my outlines are not actually black. They're, like, a very, very dark green. Like, here, if I, like, if you look over here at my color, swatch, that's black, right? When did that happen? Oh my god. And they're all like this. Okay, hang on. I can fix it. Expand. That's so weird. Did I just not pay attention? I think I just wasn't paying attention. It's okay. I think it's like mostly fixed now. Just like fill bucket is like useful for this. Yeah, it's like, okay, hang on. I'm gonna make it so that, try and get it so I can get it more in line with the, everything. But it's like really hard to see. I should just use a clipping layer at this point, but, this is still fixable. This is like, I don't have to redo all the things, you know? Again, I have no idea how well the color difference actually shows up on stream for you guys, but it is like... It's really close. It's like unbelievably close to black, but I can see it. Okay, that's not messing with my, with the look of the outlines too much. Alright. I mean, it's a cool look. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It's just, you know, I don't normally use colored outlines, and I am gonna be nitpicky about it. I'll leave, I might leave the eye things down there just because they're, like, really small. Super insignificant at the end of the day. This is, like, some really good, like, eye color training, too. Like, I have to, like, see what I'm doing. what a weird thing that happened. This doesn't usually happen. Oh, the spikes, though, they're really small. Okay, maybe I will just end up using a clipping layer. Or, you know what, the spikes are so small that it shouldn't be a problem, honestly. Okay, well, I think that's fixed. I must have just not noticed that the color slider wasn't, fixed. Kind of crazy, because that doesn't usually happen to me. But it's okay. Yeah, and Johnny's getting back into drawing digitally again. We found out that he seems to enjoy traditional work a lot more, but he wants to make digital work. So we're trying to get him back into that. He found like he found a art style that he like is enjoying a lot. So that's good, and that's like great to see. God, it's like bothering me that like some of them are here. Maybe I can still fix it real quick. Tweak my fill tool when we get back to the colors. Go. Then these ones. Oh my god, there's still chunks of like green here. Oops. Yeah, that's black still. And then these ones also look like that. Let's see, fix that real quick. Alright, there we go. Now for sure it's fixed. I feel like I've always had like really good like eyes for like those really like small color differences. I remember there was I want to say it was a mobile game, but I can't remember. But it was that one where it's like they show you the different like color swatches. It'll be like you have to choose the one that's like not the same color as the rest. And I was like decently good at it at the end of the day. But there was like sort of a cheat that you could do. You could hold the screen like this and you could like see the one that was like different so much easier. It was like it was kind of funny that you could do that. I don't play a lot of mobile games though. I feel like I used to. Oh wait, there's more green here. Like I kind of used to, but the ones lately, especially like these days, they're not very appealing to me. Like I watch the ads will play, right? And I actively like sit there at the screen just like so angry, like god, the people like the animation, like I know it's not actually like somebody playing the game, right? Like that would be ridiculous, but like let's just for the sake of hypotheticals, let's say it was somebody like playing the game for those mobile game ads. I get so upset because it's like, oh my god, how could you be so stupid? How could someone exist that is like this dumb? Like, man, I feel like that's how they're supposed to like hook you, or it's like you get so angry, it's like, come on, I could do this, right? But I just sit there and I'm like, that's stupid, that's dumb. No one is this, like, no one who can actually hold a phone, and play games can be this, like, that is how they get you, yeah. But for me, it's just like, no. Like, I'm not falling for it. I know this is, like, this is just some, like, rage bait stuff right here. So I actually don't end up playing a lot of mobile games. Johnny does, though, which is really funny. You know, like, if people enjoy it, I don't mind. But uh, I just think it's funny how like upset I get, where it's just like it'll be the ones where it's like, okay, you have to choose two different gates. There's one with a really big number and one with a slightly smaller number, and the number that you have is like somewhere in between the two numbers, right? And it's like, oh boy, I wonder which one I should go through, the one that I literally can't do or the one that is possible. It's like there's no like choice there, which is what frustrates me. Um because again, once again, this is just lore. I did go to school for game design, and I have taken game design classes. One extremely good principle of game design is giving your players meaningful choices. And, uh, like, you know, maybe the choice doesn't always have to be, like, oh, it's gonna affect the end of the game and everything, right? There's plenty of games that don't do that, but the choice feels meaningful regardless, whether it's due to, from like a writing standpoint or yada yada. Like take Pokemon Mystery Dungeon for example. It is the same ending across every like iteration of Mystery Dungeon. However, the dialogue options that you get feel impactful because you you know, you establish a bond with the partner Pokemon in that game, and like this is sort of like dictating your friendship. Um, but or a game like Baldur's Gate 3, those meaningful choices genuinely do impact a lot of things. It'll determine like if you can romance a character or not, or it might be like what kind of it might affect what kind of ending. Like those are meaningful choices, whether they like actually like do things end game or not. Um, Having a stupid little like character standing here with a score of 20 standing between two gates. One of them says 180 or 108 and the other one says 15. This is not a meaningful choice. There is no choice effectively. Because if you go here, you're going to get obliterated by that. And if you go here, like this is the only way forward. And it's not even like you have to think that hard. It's, gee, what is 20 a greater number than 15? Yeah, it is. Like that's one of the ones that I find like the most frustrating because it's like it's like it's basic math. My dumb reptile brain can do that. And then there's always like the other ones where it's like they try and like prey on like children's morbid curiosity. That one's just weird on like a bunch of like moral standpoints. Um, maybe one day we'll have a stream where we react to really bad mobile game ads because I have such a vendetta against them. Like, I don't care that the gameplay is just like merging two things together. I don't care that the gameplay is, I don't know, organizing stuff or matching three things. I don't care, right? Like those are games at the end of the day. What I do care about is the way that they are advertised, because again, a lot of it is geared towards children, and there are like some weird ones. Does anyone remember? Does anyone remember? Fuck, what's it called? Uh, was it Lily's Garden? I can't remember. Point being, incredibly like suggestive themes in there, and I'm like, okay, there are toddlers playing these games and seeing these ads. Maybe we don't do that. Like it's Lily's Garden ads are terrible. Yeah, they're so bad. What is interesting though is that it did start like a trend, and there are ones that actually like end up leaning into like the whole like background lore thing way more. There's one I can't remember, but the girl in that one, I just remember she has like her hair in a bun, she wears glasses and a blue shirt, and she has magical green hands. And that was maybe the only like merge game ad that I found vaguely interesting because at least they're not doing the whole sex sells thing. Uh, but yeah, it's just like it's so weird to think about like the way some of these things are getting normalized for kids. There is an ice cream place out here, and I'm not saying this to say like, oh, like swearing is so bad, you shouldn't say the F word or the I swear on stream all the time, right? Um but I will say I don't like excessive swearing because honestly it's just cringe. Um it's cringe, it's lazy, like if you're going to insult me, put a little bit more thought into it, right? Stuff like that. Um and I also think I still think it's cringy when people like use it in like their marketing. Uh because it's like, okay, like thanks for doing that, I guess. It's I don't know. And there was, I think they're closed down now, they didn't last that long. There was this place in a plaza here in the city called Bomb AF Ice Cream. Now they didn't necessarily use the F word. Um but again, it's an ice cream place. Like children are probably going there asking their parents like, "What does AF mean?" And it's like, okay, like you can raise your kids however you want, but it's like society, like the way society is like so desensitized to these things, it's so stupid. I mean, I swear in front of children, but like I do try and like cut back on it when I do notice there's like kids. It's like, oh, let me at least switch to a different language so the kids don't understand me. Like that's my compromise at Carl's Jr. But it's just, I don't know. It's weird. Children are being like exposed to stuff that I don't think they should be seeing, and people are just fine with it. Like take for example the Carl's Jr. Burger Lady ads. Good lord. It was funny that we brought it back. It was incredibly funny. But it was also very like, oh man, we have children here. At the end of the day, though, it's not like children haven't been to Vegas. Like, I've been to Vegas when I was a kid. I've seen butts. There was one, there is like a very explicit memory, though. I was like really young. Um, the casinos in Vegas are just kind of like unavoidable, so it's not like my parents are trying to take me here or anything. It's just like a it was just like a like, well, the hotel is on top of the casino. What are we gonna do? We gotta go through it anyways, right? But they always like tell us like, oh, don't look at anything, just keep your head down. My dumb, curious, stupid child brain. I distinctly remember there was like a strip dance going on, and I was like looking over there like, why is that lady's butt out? And my parents were like, Kyra, stop looking, stop looking. They're covering my eyes and everything. I'm like, okay, let's get out of here. Like, I did not understand anything as a child. It was so funny. But you know, it's like that's Vegas though, right? Like, it's kind of expected that you're going to run into stuff there that you probably don't want children to see. Carl's Jr. is a different story. Especially in today's age, considering we did the corporation did indeed get in trouble for the sexy burger lady ads a long time ago, and I guess enough time has passed where it's just like, can we bring it back yet? Like, they're just like frothing at the mouth, like, okay, this year we're for sure going to bring it back. This is gonna bring the sales back up. We're gonna go back into our golden era. Just something silly like that. Yeah, that was Vegas. I haven't been to Vegas in a while. I think my dad wants to go because he likes the buffets there. I want to go because there's the what's it called? I forget what it's called. I think it's like O Mart or something like that. And it's got like all kinds of like weird stuff in there. But I think there is like, because it's like a huge tourist attraction, the lines to get in are like really long, which is unfortunate. So even if we do go, I don't think I would be able to go visit that place. Um, Another thing too, I'm 21. I can like drink there, but I honestly don't think I would be doing that much drinking because chances are if I'm going to Vegas, it's probably with family. Um, like direct family, not with like cousins or anything. It's just like, okay, well, let me not get blackout drunk with my parents. And not really like with my parents, really. It's more like with my dad. My dad was unironically kind of excited, like when I turned 21. Um, or like he was more, or not like excited, but like he was like more thrilled than like I was. I think, is that it was it was just to the point where he was like okay with like giving me alcohol, and that's kind of pretty much why I'm also okay with like giving Clive alcohol, just like really like light ones. At the end of the day, I would not let him anywhere near like shots or a cocktail or anything. It's just like, okay, if you want like a Smirnoff Ice or something like that, you can have that, Clive. But that's as far as that goes. My dad was like pretty excited to let me drink, and I'm just like, okay, Dad, if you say so. And my mom like teases me about it too. She'll be like, "Oh, Kyra, are you gonna get drunk?" I'll be like, "No, actually, I'm not looking to drink today. I was actually just gonna get iced tea." And she'll like laugh every time I get alcohol and just like, "Oh, I'm treating myself today." It's so funny. I was debating on giving Blight like the gloves that she usually uses because if you look in her outfit right here, um, oops, I gave her like these long, like sort of like rubbery latex gloves. I was like, I don't think that would be very comfortable to play bass with that. In marching band, we actually did have to wear gloves for as part of our uniform. But the thing with flute is that some flutes have holes on their keys. So when that happens, it's like, okay, well uh, we can't we can't use gloves on those because it's just not gonna work to cover it. Because what you need to do, like the holes in the keys actually do help the pitch quality of the instrument. Uh, but it does mean that you have to cover the holes really well in order to like get that improved pitch quality. So, um, but that wasn't necessarily the case for every flute. When I was in band, I had two flutes, one for marching band, one for concert band. The one for marching band didn't have any holes, but regardless, I still needed the gloves because, yeah, another thing too, like at least with the other instruments, a lot of them have like thumb rests and, um, the and their gloves would come with like sort of like pads or something on the inside, so it was like it wasn't like your instrument was always slipping out of your grasp. Flutes do not have thumb rests or anything. You just have to hold it up. So, um, we just had holes, or we just had fingerless gloves. And the funny thing is oh, calling it a day. Thank you for the stream. Good luck with the drawing. Thank you, and thank you so much for coming around. Always lovely to have you around. The funny thing though about like the marching band gloves was that they never actually like sold fingerless gloves. You had to like cut them off. So every like year I would like spend time like in the band room just like drawing in like with a Sharpie where I'm gonna cut things and just be like, okay, we take the scissors and like just gonna go for it. Let's see. I'll get to this in a moment because I want to use my straight line tool for that for once. I like how there's only like a select few things I'll actually use like straight line tools on. Everything else it's like no. And then I want to draw in the seams here for the padding. I should have. I referenced like some leather jackets for this on Google, but in my head, I was like, okay, well, I know I want some sort of like quilted look in like one spot on the jacket, so I'm just gonna choose like this little area right here, and that should be good enough. We'll see what happens. I actually do have a leather jacket with padding on it, and I was so happy that I had it because when I was playing Apex, I knew I wanted to do a Wraith cosplay at some point. And because that jacket had padding, and Wraith's armor in the game absolutely does have like that same quilted padding, it's like, this is perfect, I'm gonna use this. So all I had to do was paint it, and then I had my mom make the little like armor stuff, which I was like super grateful for because I have no idea how I would have done that otherwise. There we go. Okay, hang on. Hang on. I'm gonna fix it because I don't like how that's shaped. I do want these to look roughly uniform. Unfortunately, I'm just not particularly good at that. Let's see. Oh yeah, it is Neil's birthday tomorrow. Our good friend Neil. I made him a moderator on the Kerr server. Thankfully, it hasn't needed much moderating. He's just like usually like busy too, so I was also helping out with that. But point being, it is his birthday tomorrow, and that is looking a lot better. So nobody tell him. Nobody tell him. But he already knows that I'm drawing this, but I've already finished it. So at midnight tonight, just to be funny, I'm gonna send this to him. I don't do a lot of furry art, but I feel like I should do more of it because it is really fun, just like the different techniques that I have to use when it comes to rendering and drawing in the face and everything. But I had a lot of fun working on this. Like this was great. I've only sent him the sketch. He has no idea that I did this. Hello, James. Or I guess I should say not Big Man James. You're not James. But yeah. I am excited to send that to him later tonight, so that'll be funny. Let's see. I think we'll go 15 on the size here, and we'll just bring this down. Let's see, it is 1:18, so we're going to be going for about another hour. Then bring that over. Clean it up just a little bit. Yeah, look at that. That's not bad at all. Straight line tool again. I feel like I could have like freehanded this, but the thing about straight lines is that they're a lot easier to draw when they're not like super long. Because really the trick is to just like do it like really fast like that, but you know. Anyways, I'm gonna draw out the guitar before I draw the rest of her arm there. And I'm gonna make sure that this consistency stays solid all the way through for the most part. Oops. Then get this part of the guitar too. The bass, I should say. No, that is a whole other thing. Those are going to be on the inside actually, so I'm going to do it more like this. I told Johnny that I think he should work on bigger canvases, because I think to an extent he still kind of works on about like 1,000 or so, and I'm like, nah. If you want like the little like details in your rendering to like really like come out and everything, you gotta work on like bigger canvases. And it's kind of the same as with like traditional art. Like it's good to practice working on like bigger areas. I have a decently big. Yeah, give me a sec. Clearly, data isn't gonna cut it to watch stream. Ouch. Yeah. I mean, I don't want you using your data at the end of the day. You know, if you can't make it to stream, you can't make it to stream. That's what I always say. I do upload these as VODs. If you want my YouTube, I can send that real quick. Now, it might look a little bit sus because the profile picture isn't the same, but I promise it's me. Real quick, that was a... Okay. There are, like, a surprising amount of views on some of these. Like, more than I would think. But if you want background noise or anything, I do upload all my VODs right here. I promise it's me even though the profile picture is different. Don't ask about the profile picture too. It was just a very, very silly thing that I did because I didn't know how to make a Spider-Man Sona back then. But yeah, hi again. Hello. Yes. Here we are working on art. If you missed the bit about the YouTube channel, that's just the VOD channel. That's where I upload everything because I don't upload anything else to that channel. But yeah, if you were worried about missing streams, and you still wanted to like catch up on them, you can check out the thing there. One day I'll organize it, just not today. How does that work? I think like, nope. Okay, hang on. Hang on. Draw something parallel. And let me just try freehanding it at this point. Maybe I shouldn't be so concerned about straight. Maybe I should just let it be a little more curvy in places and not worry about things too much. That being said, I do want to like chop off some of this just because it's a bit too big. It's a bit too thick for being like an inner detail. There's like a principle when it comes to inking, like the outside lines gotta be thick, whereas the inside lines gotta be thin, and I do follow that like relatively strictly. Watching a VOD to me is like re-listening to a phone call. Yeah, that's fair. That makes a lot of sense. Sometimes I'll put VODs on just because it's like, it's really long. They don't usually have ads in them. And it's like, I don't gotta worry about switching the video. Or the song, because a lot of times I do listen to like music or videos just when I'm doing stuff. Okay, and then I think we'll actually bump this down to 7 for that. I mentioned it earlier on stream, but I did actually reference my very own bass guitar for this. Oops. John did bring the amp back, I was gonna say. Maybe I should actually play some bass on stream. But I don't know how well that's gonna work. Because I'm decent at it. Okay, so, recently I've taken to learning an Eagles song because, so where's the bass strap? I was too lazy to draw it in because I forgot. Also, I think when I took a picture of the reference for my guitar, I didn't, or for the bass, I didn't have the strap, on it, so I wasn't sure, but it's okay. It's a fantasy, and make pretend. I do have a really nice, strap for it, though. It's, like, gray, and it's got, like, a really nice, like, ornate pattern on it. Let's just go with telepathy. Yeah, it's a fantasy world. They can do what they want. They probably, like, realistically, everyone's got to have like at least a 10 in their strength score, right? Anyways, I'm kidding. But yeah. So our dad grew up in the Philippines, and you know, I wonder what fell. Anyways, he does preach about like the whole like saving money thing, right? And I do take it to heart. But Johnny wanted to start a band. I was like, I'll play bass if we start a band. He's like, okay, yeah. So we went to a pawn shop one day. I wasn't expecting to see guitars there, but there were guitars there. And I tried out bass. And Johnny had theorized this for a bit now, that I would enjoy bass way more than guitar, just because I like playing individual notes and melodies and stuff like that. So he theorized that bass would be really good for me. And he was absolutely right. I have been loving the bass guitar. That being said, we didn't tell our dad about any of this. Have you listened to any songs from here? Surprisingly, yes, and it was all by accident. I'll get to that in a moment. So, we didn't tell our dad about it because, you know, it's expensive at the end of the day. Instruments are very expensive. And I had a theory. I was just like, I bet if we just learned a song that Dad really likes, like, he'll be fine with us, like, buying instruments like this, right? So I ended up learning, like, what was it, Sunday night? Sunday night, I ended up, like, learning, big brain, yeah. I ended up learning, Witchy Woman from Eagles. Oh, hello, Jimmy! Hello! Hello, Jibble, come here. Come here! You wanna come here? He's just looking at me. Okay, be weird like that. Fine. It's my dog. His name is Jimmy. Anyways. So I ended up learning the bass line for Witchy Woman on Eagles, and my dad, like I theorized, was not upset that I just had a bass guitar up in my room. And I was just like, yes! I don't have to hide this from him anymore. Regardless, though, it is a really fun bass line to play. I'm not particularly good at it, or I can get most of it. There's just like one thing in the song that I can't really do, because it involves muting and plucking the strings really fast, and I'm not great at that. But I can play it like pretty well. How fast to get calluses? Actually, I think I got, when I was initially trying to learn guitar, I did get calluses, but I wasn't, like, consistent enough for them to, like, really, like, stay. So, like, I do have them, but it's not really enough to provide the cushioning that I really need for, to play guitar. But the bass strings, however, despite being thicker, are actually really, really kind on my fingers. It's kind of crazy. Like, they're not super hard to press down. It's really, like, it's just really, really nice to play bass, and I'm, like, so happy with it. Yeah. Among other things I've been learning on bass, though, is, Psycho Killer, because that was one of the ones in the bass lessons I've been following on YouTube. Another one is, the bass line in that one Arctic Monkeys song, A Certain Romance. So that's been good. I wanted to, like, learn a Fall Out Boy song, but when I looked at the tabs, I don't think... It's weird, because it's like they play something different from what they wrote down, and as a person who can read sheet music, I was just like, guys, what is this? I am aware of the joke about, like, guitarists not being able to read sheet music. I don't know, but I still got calluses from my uke, which had nylon strings. I mean, I have a classical guitar. It's not that good. It has nylon strings. I got calluses from that. That's just kind of how it goes. But somehow the bass does not hurt to play. Or it doesn't hurt my fingers. It hurts my hand. But we don't talk about that. We don't talk about me and my decaying wrist health. Or declining wrist health. That's probably a better word to use. Bass is, like, super fun. Actually, I am making a TikTok out of the whole art process for this, and the song I will be using Psycho Killer, which is played on the 5th fret here, and the 3rd fret on the very low E string, and I did try to make sure that I gave her, like, the flat bass hand. I did make sure that, like, her fingers are, like, ready to, like, pluck the string down there. Because I feel like because I play bass, I have no excuse to draw that wrong. Arthritis, real. For me, it's carpal tunnel. Speaking of carpal tunnel, I feel like I should be wearing my brace at night, but every time I wear my brace at night, it hurts a lot when I wake up. Like, it feels arguably worse, so I'm not sure if I'm supposed to have, like, a specific brace for sleeping, or if I just shouldn't be wearing it at all. Because I am experiencing wrist pain on occasion. On Saturday when I was working, you know, I, like, bag the orders, I hand them out, and as I was, like, bagging stuff and, like, handing them out at the drive-thru window, I did start to feel it, and I was just like, oh boy. Like, I hope it goes away. It went away, thankfully, but still. Whee. Contact needs to stay in there. My eye is so itchy, though. Oh, is that the end of the playlist? It's not the end of the playlist. You got hand braces? I have a single brace. I can grab it, like, real quick. Ooh, that did not mean to save on Twitch. Here we go. What's that look like? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go grab it real quick. It's just right here. Asleep on a couch, my body will be completely destroyed within the next 5 years. But this is a carpal tunnel brace. It just slips onto my hand like that. There's a little, like, metal bar in here. Yeah. And I just put the straps like that onto the Velcro, and it keeps my wrist straight. Like, I can't flex or bend it all that much. I'm gonna take this off because I can't draw with this, but that's what that's for. I have to get this because sometimes I'll do something kind of insane, like make a, I don't know, 15 character plus poster, and my wrist feels like shit by the end of that. Those took like, all 3 of those took like a month to do, and it was painful. So whenever I do the posters, I do like to take, like, breaks for that, but still. My skating hand pads have the exact same thing. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it goes. Actually, now that I look, I'm wearing things with sort of pants with, like, sort of like that fishnet underneath it. Now that I look at it, it's way more diagonal, so I'm just going to... We're gonna do it like this. Oops. I'm sure there's like a brush for this, but I'm too lazy to find that. Except they're more padded because, you know, yeah, that makes sense. No, for me, I need this because, I draw 365 days in a year. And I've been doing that for the past 4 or 3 years? 3 or 4 years, something like that. Just daily drawing is not good for you, but it does get you the internet updates, and the internet updates make my brain happy. So that's what that's about. Let's see. You'd think I would use the straight line tool here, you'd be wrong. It's like small enough where I can get it like pretty straight. With enough tries. I wish I had something productive I wanted to do every day. I mean, that's always, it's a good thing to have. Do I recommend drawing every day like I do, though? No. Um, for me, I don't really know anything else that I would be doing, because as much as I would like to play video games every day, um, I am finding I do get, like, exhausted with that, and I don't like how I feel after a whole day like that. Um, I like this because at least to a certain degree, I can theoretically make money off of this. My coworker was telling me, um, the last time I saw him, I want to draw every day. I just don't have anything in my noggin to draw. Oh, you're an artist too? Yes, yay, nay. I don't meet a lot of artists. Well, online I'll meet a lot of artists, but in real life, no. Um, the only people I know who draw in real life are my cousins, Johnny, our goth friend, and that is kind of it. I don't. I draw once in a blue moon. Mood. Well, I can't even say. I can't say that anymore. But I get it. I get it. I used to be way more inconsistent with this, but ever since I started like forcing myself to do this every day, um, everything has been. Everything but my wrist has been thriving. What do you mean, mood? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's like my default response. But I get it though. I used to have periods like that where it's just like I haven't drawn in a bit. I'm gonna do this now. Um, but that was a long time ago. Now that I'm like more consistent with this, I could be like a little machine pumping out art almost every day. I am getting I will admit this. I am getting ever so slightly burnt out with digital art. I have a sneaking suspicion that is I don't that's because I don't really like the sketching process all that much. No, I don't really feel pressure to do it either. I mean, yeah, that's like a lot of people. My coworker was telling me that he tried drawing once, and he just doesn't have a good relationship with her. And I told him it's like nothing to worry about. It's not like I don't expect to meet artists in real life. I'm not gonna say that we're rare, but it's not exactly like easy to find people who draw either, unless you like go to a place where you will definitely find artists. Um, it's because I get it. It's like it's tedious. It's a lot of work, and the payoff in the beginning might not feel like it's worth it for like a long time. It's really like a whole commitment. I I know what I could do if I really wanted to get back into the. Oh, dude, posting art in the internet is actually like the worst thing for my mental. Dude, you're telling me I have It's so tough fighting with like the algorithm sometimes. I've just chosen to like give up on algorithm stuff. I don't care if I grow or not as an artist. I'm just doing whatever it is that I'm doing. But I've been making these dice stickers for vending events, and they're supposed to be like each class's like hit die in D&D, and they'll have like different like elements from like the things, so like a dagger, key, coins, and a soul knife, rogue blade. This is the rogue sticker. These stickers never do well in the algorithm. And it makes me kind of sad because it's like one of the only instances where I get to show off like, hey, I really can like paint like realistically to a certain extent. And then they just don't do that well. I'm like, that's okay. I know people like kind of like follow me for the character art anyways, but it's still like, oh, I worked so hard on these. Brother, at my peak activity, I would try to get artist rank on each Discord server I joined. I was like actually 12. Jesus. My god, no. I was not on the internet at all until like maybe I was 16 or 17. Because I don't think my parents really liked me having social media. Like, my parents were definitely protective to a certain extent. And to be fair, I don't think social media really appealed to me all that much when I was younger. I think... No, I lied. I would have been 15, actually. I got my DeviantArt account when I was, like, in my freshman or sophomore year in high school. Yeah, I get that, putting a lot of effort for no one to see. Yeah, I mean it's fine. It's fine. Like I said, a lot of people, way more people like my character art than they do just like the dice stickers, which I get. I get it, you know. So I'm not too beat up over it. It's the only time where I start to like freshman at 15. It might have been. Yeah, I was probably 14. I'm like born in October, so that's. When did I have my DeviantArt? I'm trying to think. Oh, right. Okay, so the way schooling works here is different. School starts at like age 5 or 6, and that's like kindergarten. And then first grade would be like 7. Second grade would be like 8. No, bump that all back a year. I'm so sorry. Point being, uh, my freshman year was when I was like 13 to 14. Sophomore year at 15 to 16 ish, and so on and so forth. And also, I think that's the Cyberpunk OST finish. Yeah, it's the same here. The freshman at 12 was kind of crazy. Let's see, what else can I put on that isn't copyrights? Pacific Dreams Radio. Unfortunately, I think that would have copyright music. I was in first grade at 6. I'm trying to remember how old I would have been. I could realistically count down. So, in 7th grade, I would have been 12. 11th grade is. Or no. Oh my god, no, I'm stupid. I can't do it right now. Point being, I'll just put the combat music on. Point being, though, I the DeviantArt was like one of the only forms of social media I had for like a long time, and I don't miss it. You won't find it. You won't find my DeviantArt because I know I deleted it, and I'm not saying my old screen name either. Um, but I had DeviantArt when I was like maybe 14, and then I think I had Instagram when I was around 16. I want to say because Johnny made me make an Instagram account. And I didn't use it all that much. And then, but even then, that was like a private social account. And then I had Tumblr at some point. I forgot when I got that. I think it was gonna be around the same time frame. Just a side thing, you know, you could play music on stream without it getting recorded in the VOD. You can? I have no idea how to do that. I mean, the Cyberpunk soundtrack is still pretty good. I like to put the video game OSTs on just because I know for a fact they probably won't get copyright struck, and they're usually pretty good. Little mushroom shape. I do like the combat music. I don't know how, but I know some people who do that. Yeah, I do wonder how people get away with that. I don't know how. It's okay though. I like the video game soundtracks. Most of the time I do like Nintendo soundtracks because in my opinion Nintendo has some of the best like composers behind their games. Because to me personally their soundtracks are way more memorable because they're way less atmospheric like atmosphere focused. Which I appreciate, but some people are different. Some people like the other stuff more, and I'm just like, it's just not like, I want like a melody I can like whistle. Okay, we're almost done with the thing. I just gotta get the strings in. Mushrooms, I do love mushrooms. I got this really cute magnet for my desk when I was out. It's an Amanita, I think. It's got like the frills. It's handcrafted. It was so worth it. And just like it's a side magnet, so it hangs off like the side of my desk like that. I love it so much. And I have like more like little mushroom dioramas, like or like little mushroom figures, I should say. I was completely forgot. What songs have you heard from Philippines, from Filipino artists, right? Um, yes, okay. Um, let's see. You know what, let me just open my Spotify and pray it just doesn't start auto-playing. Okay, good. It's not playing anything. I'm gonna make sure I mute it before I accidentally click something. So me and Johnny were playing Stardew Valley over like winter here, so like January, February-ish, I believe, something like that. December too. We were doing Stardew Valley playthroughs, and um, one thing that got recommended to me in YouTube was Elliot Stardew romance playlist, something like that. And there were two songs in there that I really liked. One was called Fallen by Lola Amor. Excuse me, I gotta touch my eyeball a little bit. My contact is like moving around and I don't know why. Fallen by Lola Amor, and then Come Inside of My Heart from Four of Spades. I really liked those songs, and when I looked them up on YouTube, both of those were Filipino artists, and I was like, yo. So that's how I found that. But I don't listen to a lot of music from the Philippines, honestly. If you want something like, something else, is one answer that you're probably most definitely going to know. It's, what's it called? It's, Awitin Mo from, you know, that one band I forget the name of. But yeah, I do have that on my Spotify. I don't listen to it that often. I gotta be in like the right mood for the Filipino party anthem. I kinda know both. Eraserheads? Never heard of them. The music that I listen to, especially as of late, hold on, I might have that wrong. I don't listen to OPMs often either. Yeah. The music I've been listening to lately has been a lot of like indie rock kind of stuff. So if you've heard of the Happy Fits, most of the band is white, but the lead singer and the cellist, because they use a cello in their band, he is Filipino. His name is Calvin Langman, and I love their music so much. It's so good. And then of course I also have been I love listening to My Chemical Romance. Haven't been super in the mood for punk lately, but I do still enjoy like a lot of their songs. But yeah, Happy Fits. I've been listening to Kids That Fly, which is another super like indie, like low, just like not super popular band, but I've been enjoying it a lot, and I've been getting a little bit into Eagles again. Because my dad's been listening to it, and I'm trying to learn. I'm like, you know what? These do kind of slap. Not that I didn't think that they slapped, but it's just like, I just don't usually listen to a lot of my dad's playlists, but as of recently, it does seem like I am turning into my father. Okay, how do I like how those strings look? I don't like the placement of the first one, unfortunately. Let's see. I'm gonna erase that. But yeah, I've really been. I'm surprised your dad doesn't have any of their songs. Yeah, if you're into indie stuff, Eraserhead started indie-ish, but that's like all bands. No, but so my dad honestly doesn't like Filipino media a lot. He and my mom are very different. My mom loves the Filipino telenovelas. She loves them so much. She's obsessed with this one guy. I forget his name. I just know he's like a really popular actor in the Philippines. I'm not a huge fan of him, but you know what? Good for you, Mom. My dad really likes like American stuff, so he loves Eagles. He's been like into country lately. I know that. And then like I think he likes some AC/DC songs. Tom Petty was something that I really liked as a kid, and he also really liked Tom Petty, I think. Yeah, my dad just likes. My dad has just always liked Western world stuff way more than Filipino stuff, and because my dad was a stay-at-home dad and my mom was not, um, we all kind of like grew up with the same taste, or like we kind of grew up with the same opinion. I don't like the Filipino telenovelas all that much. There was one that my mom tried to show me. I don't know if you know the name of this one, but it's like it was titled "She's Dating the Gangster." That one, well, first of all, not only was it like bad, but second of all, yeah, I know that one. Can we just like talk about the whole, like, every character in that movie was a walking, talking red flag, except for the poor girl who died at the end. It's based off of a Wattpad? No way. There's no way. What? Why is Wattpad actually down there? A lot of those movies are based off of a Wattpad. That's insanity. That is actual insanity. I'm not sure how to feel about that. Because here's the thing. I remember watching I don't mean this to say, first of all, that like Wattpad fics are bad. There's a lot of like really good writers everywhere on any platform. But point being, that movie, every single character there was like a walking red flag, except for the poor girl who died at the end. Cause she's there, and literally all it is like all it is like, I don't want to be bullied by this weirdo. I just felt kind of bad for him, and he just kept like he's just like. He keeps being pushy. He doesn't take no for an answer. He threatens to kill himself if he doesn't. Well, you know, a 15-girl probably wrote it. That's. I have words to say about that. I have emotions that are not good in regards to that. I don't. I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm just like, no, it's so bad. I still don't think I like how these are aligned all that much, but I don't think it gets any better than that, so I'm just going to leave it. It's so... Every single character in that book deserves to be thrown behind a set of bars and never see the light of day again, except again for the poor main character who died at the end. Like, she was a victim. She was unbelievably a victim. And I remember me and my friend had watched it and we were just like, what is this insanity? It's like also, it's like framing like so many of these things to be like a good thing. I'm like, no, it isn't. No, it fucking isn't. But yeah, I don't like the telenovelas all that much in Philippines at all, or their romance movies. It's not good. They're very not good. I will say this though, Trece, the Filipino anime on Netflix, very very fun. Um, I, I seriously don't think that a season 2 is ever happening. I can like pray, but I loved Trece so much. I loved that it was like so dark and like so like it really gives like the mythology like an entire chance to shine. The ending of the ending of the series kind of fell off because it was just kind of like an exposition dump. But you know what? Like, that honestly doesn't ruin like the whole thing for me. Like, I still loved the scenes. I think for what it was just like really, really good. I enjoyed Trece a lot, and of course, uh, wait, I haven't seen it. Oh my god, it'd be so funny if like you couldn't watch Trece in Philippines and you had to get a VPN for it. That would be the decision of a lifetime. Um, but what's there's a joke that I made on stream, one day when we were talking about it. It was just a very like it was a late night stream. It was one of the late night streams, and I wasn't playing any video games. So I was working on art. I forget what I was working on. But I had brought up a particular character in Trece. Um, I forget what the creature is in the mythology is called. I just know it's a horse, and I was joking around like I'm not a furry, but I would ride that horse. And chat was just like, "Okay, what are you talking about?" Right? Like they were just mildly concerned. And then I pulled up the picture. He is so fine. Uh, is called Tikbalang. Gotcha. Thank you. Anyways, the character's name is Malixi. Uh, he always shows up in the search bar every day. Okay, look. Okay, look. He's so fine in his human form, right? This is like some silly happenings going on. We just opened a new candidate. Pixel, please. He's so fine in his human form, right? Like, that ain't bad. Ignore the fact that I have a thing for guys with long hair. Just, like, pretend for a moment, right? There's a particularly good, like, picture of his horse form in here. It is so good. I found it. Like, look at that. Look at that. He's so fine. They went so hard with his design, and for what? For the show to only have one season. But he's literally so fine. But yeah, not a furry, but I would ride that horse. I should do more furry art, though. I do kind of enjoy it. It's very fun to do. Because I have, like, a way that I like to do my rendering these days. I make it very, Oh, they're sticking to one season. Rough. Oh, did they actually confirm that? Yeah, I don't think we are. I mean, it's been years. I well, to be fair, it's like yeah, there's been like essentially no news on it whatsoever. Like the latest thing I'm finding is a Twitter post from December of 2024, and it's somebody asking like, is anyone going to like give this a second season? I seriously doubt it, which is unfortunate because again, I really liked it a lot. Again, all kinds of like fun stuff here, like just to share my display capture real quick. Just like look at this aesthetic right here. We have the guy who looks kind of like Manny Pacquiao. We have the goth girl protagonist. We have her two brothers who are so funny. I love them so much. We have this goober. We have the horse that I am a simp for. Like, it's really good. Which is unfortunate because it's unfortunate that there's like no word on season 2 whatsoever. Real quick, I am going to record her as a horse girl, alright? Look, he is so fine. That's all I'm saying. It was it is funny to just kind of like sit there, like, oh, I romanced Elliot from Stardew Valley, like and then a lot of the guy characters that I make tend to have long hair, and then I really like that one character from Tressier with the long hair. He's also a horse, but that's besides the point. Um, and then I was just like sitting there like, I might just have a thing for guys with long hair. That was just kind of a realization I had on stream, which is like, ah, I see. I like short curly hair too. Uh, when my goth friend, and Johnny's friend too, he was her friend, or she was her friend. She was his friend first. There we go. When she came into the store, asking about a job, I was like, oh yeah, you just want to apply on like there's like a QR code out front. Choose location 70. I might have just doxed myself, but that's okay. Choose the store location on this street, and it'll like get like an interview or something, right? Or whatever it is that I said. My headphones are so cute. Thank you. They're just the Razer crackhead earphone. I think it's Razer Kraken, not crackhead, but I'm gonna stick with crackhead. Uh, they're just the Razer Kitty earphones. They're not super special. Kraken brother. I caught it. I caught it. Okay. I think they should rename it to Crackhead. I think it'd be very fitting. Anyway, she turned to leave the store, and when she was like out of it, I just turned to one of the cooks who was standing out there with me, and I was just like, she's cute. As it, aside from like long hair, I also really like short curly hair. I think that looks good on anyone. Like, that is peak aesthetic right there. But yeah, that happened, and that was like a silly thing. She has a boyfriend though, and I was just like, oh, okay, never mind. And I ended up telling her like that was like my first impression of you, and she was like making jokes like, get away from us, Johnny, you're getting in between our love. Um, and Johnny was just so confused, like, what are you talking about? Johnny is not her boyfriend. I think she was making the joke she was like trying to say with it was just like, oh, Johnny doesn't approve of our love, so we gotta run away together, Kyra. And I was just like, okay. But yeah, just very very silly things. All right, just clean that up a bit more. I think that's looking good, and that is almost all the outlines done. I forgot about this little zipper down here. Man, I am learning quite a bit about people I am never meeting. I mean, that's kind of how, like, that's how it goes. Like, I don't know what else to talk about. Um, like, all the details that I'm sharing personally are just, like, things that are pretty much inconsequential if people knew about them in real life. And a lot of the people that I talk about will most definitely never appear on stream. The only people you'll ever see on stream is like internet friends and Clive and Johnny, because I don't think the other people in my life would be interested in appearing on stream. Well, that's how it goes. Let's see. Oh, I gotta draw in like the actual like definition for that. Oh my god, I've forgotten so many things. Okay, well, one thing at a time. We'll do this. We'll do this quilt spot first. Just to take care of that, just because that's something like really quick that we can do. Just make sure that it looks nice. If I could get the opportunity to play like music or copyrighted music for stream and not get it like taken down, that would be great, but I have no idea how. besides that part you said deductions. I've done it before. I've said, like, the name of my city before. It's, the bright side is I don't think most people aren't generally looking to, like, fly across the entire Pacific Ocean or wherever they're from to get to wherever it is I am. I just prefer to do stuff like that because I'm sure the people in my life won't appreciate it if things happen. And that's all it is. I might actually record, like, this bit instead. Yeah, unless they already live there. I think that's the real danger. Yeah, probably. But you know, I have a loving border collie who freaks out every time there's a new person in the house. I have, numerous large-sized rocks that I can throw at somebody's head. And a collection of knives and swords. Really, all I'm missing is a gun. See, I'm gonna record, like, this little bit for the TikTok as well. I think that'll be a good one to use. It's so hard, like, filming, while drawing, because I don't... I feel like the stability just isn't there, but we make it work. It's kind of weird doing it, like, at the same time as, what's it called, as streaming too. Because I feel like I should just be able to get the clip off of the what's it called, the stream, the VOD, but I never do that. I was gonna say all that, but what if bro pulls up with a hand cannon and you get John Lennon to knock on wood? You don't have any wood here, unfortunately. Oh, well. Oh, no, it's right here. There we go. And let me make sure my camera doesn't fall off, too. Yeah, no. It's like... I'd say it's, like, pretty safe. There's only, like, one person in the entire world that I'm, like, worried is going to, like, find my stuff. You know, aside from, like, my employers and people who I work with, because I do kind of make jokes about pouring bleach into the shakes at Carl's Jr. I swear they're jokes, first of all. They're very explicitly jokes. There's only one person, and that is the there's no way to put it lightly. The stalker. Now, he hasn't stalked me in a while, which is good, but I call him the stalker because, when I graduated high school, he kept bothering me, through various means. Like, he would ask Johnny, like, hey, can you get your sister to follow me back on Instagram, or accept my follow request on Instagram? And he kept trying to talk to me at the band competitions and concerts, even though I really didn't want to talk to him. Yeah, he's like a year younger than me, but it's okay. It's like, he's already, like, I think he's already engaged to someone, which is surprising, because this guy is, like, an absolute creep. I had a stalker, we'll put it that way. The latest development on him was this. One day at Carl's Jr., he came into the drive-thru and he was like, hey, wait, did I go to high school with you? Who knows, maybe, I promise you, whatever character development has happened, it has taken a turn for the worse. But anyways, he had come to the store at one day, and you know, we both live in the same city, and but like the thing is that like when you get to working like sort of full-time-ish at a fast food restaurant, you recognize like the people who are there and who don't usually come there, right? This was a character. This guy doesn't usually come to the store, but this one time he came to do the drive-thru, and he recognized me, and he was like, "Oh, did I go to high school with you?" And I was like, "No," because I thought I didn't recognize him at first, and I thought it was just like some weirdo like trying to flirt with me, because sometimes that happens, right? Bro got woken up like the Winter Soldier when he saw you in the drive-thru. No, yeah, literally. And I'm like, no, you don't know me. And he's like, weird, because you look so familiar. I'm like, whatever, dude, right? And as I'm like holding his card to the reader, I see his name and I'm like, oh shit, it's this guy. And we ended up having to park him, and he ended up coming inside the store to get his food. And I asked the shift leader who was there with in charge, and I was just like, "Can you? This is that customer's food. Can you hand this to him? Because that was my stalker, and I don't want to talk to him." And she ended up like giving him the food, and I thought that was gonna be the end of it. Um, Now it was around this period in Carl's where I was kind of like switching between like day shift and night shift. So I'd work day shift one day, and then maybe I'd work night shift the next day, or maybe I just wasn't like working like 2 consecutive days. Point being, the day after tomorrow, or the next day over, uh, I'm working a night shift with Johnny, and he goes, Kyra, this guy kind of looks like the stalker fella, uh, like, or like he kind of sounds like him. Do you remember like what he looked like in the drive-through? And I like describe it, and he's like, yeah, that's exactly him. Mind you, again, this guy never comes to the store. You never tell your old man. When it's not super important. Um, Even in high school, okay, because in high school I wasn't allowed to date, so I wasn't sure what to do. Like, do I? Because in my head it was like, do I tell my parents that I accidentally like did this even though I knew I wasn't supposed to? It was just kind of that situation. Point being, though, uh, it doesn't matter if I tell him or not. I think I could take this guy in a fight. Like, I'm scrawny. I'm built like a twig. Um, but I think I could take this guy. And even if I lose, message received. Uh, but it was just weird that he like came by again so close to his previous visit, because again he's never done that before, and it was just like, was he looking for me? Like, is that why he was there? I haven't seen him since. I hope it stays that way. Uh, but yeah, like regardless now too, he is like engaged, I think. So it's like, well, at least if I see him again, it probably won't be all that bad. Or like at least he probably won't be trying to do something because he already like has like a partner. But like, yeah, if you want like the full story on that, uh, what it was basically. I mean, even I could take someone in a fight. I just wouldn't take my chances, especially in the U.S. Oh, no, no, no. We live in California. Don't worry about it. This isn't a carry-on state. Like, if that's what you were worried about, then again, I don't know a lot of people who carry guns. Yeah, imagine they were just trying to apologize. I don't think so. Here's why I know this guy hasn't changed all that much from high school, right? Um, so I was hanging out with some college friends after a semester, and telling this story, the full story. And if you want to know the full story, the TLDR version of it was that he had asked me out to prom. I said yes under the impression that we were just going as friends. He kept insisting that we were dating, and when I told him like, hey, I think I might actually be aromantic. I'm not aromantic. I just like when he kissed me, I didn't feel anything, and I thought maybe I am aromantic. Um, but I told him no, I don't really like want to date you because I think I might be aromantic. And then he essentially didn't take no for an answer, and I was just stuck trying to like fake it till I made it, like graduate, because I fake it till graduation because I was a year older than him, and like as soon as I graduated, ghosted him, but he kept trying to bother Johnny to get like my Instagram and everything, and we were like, oh, I don't know why you can't see our pages on Instagram. That's weird. It must be like a glitch or something. We blocked him. Um, so I'm telling my college buddies that we all get the idea to look up his Instagram. It's been years at this point, right? So he wrote a book to tell you more about his character. He's very gooner brained. Um, like, very anime porn brained kind of fella. Why'd you feel pressured to stick with him in high school? Because, low self esteem, and also I wasn't sure what to do about my parents. Because again, I wasn't allowed to date. I wasn't sure how to explain the situation. So yeah, uh, and I was also terrified of my parents because the last time I tried to get a boyfriend while I was in school, at that point, um, they had completely scared him off, and I was just miserable after that. So, yippee. Anyways, um, so we, so it's completely gooner brained. Like had like way too into like the anime hentai kind of stuff and like everything. It was just really, really like okay, you've shown me the same anime girl with her tits out. I'm like uncomfortable kind of thing, stuff like that. Uh, so it's like okay, like whatever, right? There's like loads of people like that. This guy wrote a book, as we found out during that one night when I was hanging out with my college friends. This guy wrote a book, and all of us we also like scrolled through his Instagram. There were numerous like posts of him doing the very r/nice guys thing, where he's like, I'm such a gentleman. I'm gonna call women milady, but like anytime he like spelled out milady, he actually spelled malady, which you know is a sickness, is like another word for like sickness or something. Um, it was just a whole thing on his Instagram. And when we saw that he had a book, we all got the bright idea to like this would make the funniest drinking game. For about 10 pages it was a pretty good drinking game. Until it wasn't. So the book contents. First of all, the book was dedicated to his roommate who had died in a car crash. And for reasons I will attempt to get into, I'm going to speedrun this because I've told this story a few times on stream already. This was before engagement, right? I believe so. Point being, though, this book was dedicated to his roommate who died in a car crash, and for reasons I will be getting into shortly, I do believe that she should rise from the grave and smite him where he stands. Hang on, I just realized that I never fixed my fill tool. There we go. So, for one, it's a self-insert power trip, which, not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to be a pretty damn good author to get that to work. So, essentially, in the first chapter, he's like a 9-year-old or something. By the way, this is all takes place in what can only be assumed to be the real world because he kept referencing things like, oh, this fantasy island is in the middle of the real life Mediterranean Sea, and he found a scroll dated to the Declaration of Independence. A scroll. Tip of the nose is a phone. Never mind, I'm playing. No, yeah. I always make sure to get everything. Don't worry about it. So, he's like a 9-year-old in the beginning of the story, and this 9-year-old has the combat abilities of a full adult, because this 9-year-old is literally, like, taking down, like, guards left and right. His parents end up dying because, of course, And then all of a sudden he starts hearing voices in his head. And it's just like, oh boy. It's like a whole thing. But you know, that's like the least egregious stuff at this point. Was your stalker Onision or something? Dude, that's what I'm wondering. Every time I talk about this story, I'm always astounded that this was a real life person. That I knew this person personally. Like, I'm always just like, this guy was real and I can't get over that. So at some point in the first chapter, he like dies because he lost a battle to what he described as like a common thug, and he kept bitching about it in the afterlife. Like, I want to die a warrior's death, and I'm like, you technically did. You technically did because skill issue. So God or whatever entity in the world granted him literal immortality and invincibility. This fella can't die anymore. And, so, with his newfound powers, he decides to go back to his old childhood home for some reason. And his mom's corpse is there, and, trigger warning, there is some very nasty stuff, involving necrophilia and rape. Now, I'm not saying that you can't put these things into your story. There are plenty of stories in literature where they use extremely graphic stuff like this. God damn it, Christian. Yeah. There's plenty of stories that use, like, heavy-handed material because, there's usually a point to it by the end of it, right? But you know that thing in hentai that tends to happen where this horrible thing is happening to a character, but you're just kind of like standing by and watching it happen? Yeah, tell me why, rather than immediately like jumping into action upon seeing his mom's corpse get defiled, it just kind of like plays out for like maybe a million paragraphs too long. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's like, why is this here? Why is this here? Why did it play out for so long? What was the point of all of that? And there was no point. All it was that we bought a physical, well, no, when we first did it, it was like a Kindle thing. But when I did it again with like a different group of friends, we did get a physical copy of the book. Just, we took the absolute like worst care of it. We bent the spine, ripped some pages. I feel bad giving him money, but this was like a, this was, how should I put this? Do I still have it? I lent it to a customer at the game store because he also wanted to read it, and I am more than happy to pirate it so that he stops getting money out of this. But anyways, it was just a whole thing of like, okay, why? Like, why was that scene so, like, why was that scene even there? Why did it go on for so long? Because Kite Runner, for example. Now, I've never read Kite Runner, but I am aware that there's, like, a similar, graphic scene in the book, right? But that scene is handled with, like, a lot of tact. Did we end up finishing it? Regrettably, yeah, because we just needed to know, like, how bad it really got. It was pretty bad. But, like, the scene in Kite Runner is treated with, like, a lot of, like, tact, and it's meant to, like, foreshadow how sinister this one character is. And I think it's really effective. And you know what? You know how long the scene is? It's, like, 3 sentences at most. And it's not even, like, super graphic with what happens. Like, it's just, like, the implications, and that's what's the horrifying part about it. The horrifying part about this was that it was, like, like full on like described and everything, and the way it was portrayed was indeed like an actual scene from a hentai, which I don't think should have been the case, because this was like, you know, incredibly wrong in the first place. So it's like, what the hell? Yeah, it's just 2 chapters long, imagine. But that somehow that's not even the worst part. So remember how I mentioned that this book was dedicated to his dead roommate? Um, well, his dead roommate also is a character in the book, and she has an adoptive daughter of uh of a nondescript age. We'll put it that way. Now that's going to be important. Because for some reason, at the end of chapter 3 or 4, it was weirdly early on in the book, um, it's, they don't get graphic, he doesn't get graphic with it, but there's, for some reason, they're just having sex in the next room, the mother and the adoptive daughter of nondescript age. Like, huh? Why? Why? And then the next chapter opens with like it's like from the daughter's point of view, and she's like, me and mommy had so much fun last night. And it's like, huh? Huh? And it just never gets brought up again. Just never again until like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The book was not /J. Why? Because even though it's never brought up again for like most of the chapters, near the tail end of the book, there is a part where the daughter is once again looking at the mom in a very like sexual manner. And then, somehow to disgrace his dead friend even further, there's a part where they invade China. Because again, this book is like fantasy, but like if the fantasy world was also like the real world. They're invading China, and they find these Chinese orphans. Like, kids, again, right? Kids. And his friend, like, from his friend's point of view, the way that he wrote it was like, oh, yeah, and there was this Chinese orphan girl with thick thighs, and it's like, do you know what you're saying? Do you know this dead friend? No, I don't know her. Bach addict. Bach addict, yep. This was definitely an interesting thing for you to walk in on. I did not know this dead friend. But I'm going to choose to believe that she was not like this, for my own sanity. Because, what the hell? I mean, they were friends, maybe. Look, there's only 2 options here, right? Either he has completely, like, disgraced his friend's memory, like, entirely, by framing her as a pedophile, or she really was a pedophile. It's one of the 2, and I don't like either answer, but arguably one is better than the other. Or his friend a freak, maybe, I don't know. Point being, it's just like, this book makes excellent fireplace tinder. But yeah, it's a wonder that this person existed in my life. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't know how else to feel about it. And if I see him again, and if he tries anything, be prepared to see me on the 9 o'clock news Fire D&D campaign. Honestly, unironically, the book on Amazon has one of the funniest and most accurate reviews. One of them called it mystic Alabamian porn, which is definitely not far off. And then another one said this is just a bad D&D campaign and all it does is summarize. I'm like, yeah. And somehow this guy's still planning to, like, release more books. I don't know how. He had, like, a whole, like, ego trip in his stories, where he was like, maybe my books not be popular in my lifetime, But uh, but lots of authors don't get lots of authors don't get a lot of attention in their lifetime. Like take H.P. Lovecraft for example. His works were famous long after his death. And like you're comparing yourself to H.P. Lovecraft. Anyways, it's just about time to stop stream. But hey, congrats on the engagement. True. May God have mercy on that poor lady's soul. Um, but yeah, we are going to stop stream here because it is 2:30. I should get back downstairs and do whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing. I'm gonna try and get this art ready to get out by Thursday, and we'll be looking forward to some new art tomorrow. Next stream is going to be Thursday night. As always, we'll probably be doing Hollow Knight. I think we'll actually be able to. Thanks for the story. I'm glad my trauma is entertaining to you. Um, but yeah, next stream we'll be playing Hollow Knight. I think we should be able to actually like get one of our first endings now on that one, which will be very exciting. Hey, no. Thank. Okay, not trauma. Lore. I'm sorry. But yeah, thank you everyone who stopped by. I was having a lot of fun, and I will see you guys next time. Love you all, and bye.